didn't really want to talk about it, but we have to. All right, y'all, welcome back to Rising Power. It's our space to retreat, relate, and rejuvenate. Yes, it's pause the grind, plug into God, and pamper yourself, girl. But today, let's relate for a minute. Let's see what's going on here. I have just had this thought in my mind for a long time. And the more I hear people saying it around me, whether that's on internet, whether that's people who I'm now meeting and getting into contact with, why we don't support each other, sisters? Like, not supporting the people who we know who are trying to do things, whether that's a business, whether that's an initiative, whether that's in any way. Let's talk about that. Why is it hard for us to support others that we know who are doing something either different, either something, I'm gonna just put it out there, we want to do, or either something that we may not understand, but it's good work? Why, y'all? Why do we do that? I really wonder, and this is just my understanding so far, because I've been on both sides of the ends. I've been on both sides. I've been that person, and let's just be real. This is our space, sister to sister. We get jealous. And this is when you can release that power of that, when you really sit with it. Because let me tell you, once again, sis, you are amazing. You are valuable. You are just as powerful as your sister who is doing what you see. You have the exact same power. We have all been given that. Now, whether you believe it and you're acting on it, that's a different story. So what I had to really ask myself when I was in that space of jealousy was like, okay, for one, acknowledge it. That was hard. Like, I'm jealous of this person. And it may not be the person, but what they're doing and how they are doing it. And how are they doing it in the space that they're in, or that we may have come from the same space. We may have started around the same time, and my traction isn't going like theirs is. Come on now, y'all. Let's just be real. You aspire either to do what they are doing, or you don't see how they have that strength to keep going. Maybe you may see their circumstances. And these were hard questions I had to ask myself. And that took a little bit less power from it. I was able to then have more conversations with myself. And the real beautiful thing about God is he started bringing along women who have the same conversations and the same struggles as I had. And he'll do it for you too. I'm not saying you're the person who's jealous. I'm not saying you're the person who is not supporting, but I guarantee you know somebody who is. And so let's have these conversations and talk about them so that we can loosen this power on us, because we actually have power to rise above all of that. I'm not playing off of the words of this company and this business, but you have power to rise. We all have it in any moment. We just got to have the right voices going around us, in us, so I had to ask myself that question. And so I started to have that conversation with myself more. And then the power lessened. Then I started to see, okay, it's that I aspire to do what they're doing, but I don't see how they are doing it. That could just be my understanding, once again, of how they're keeping forward and they got all this going on. Or it could just be like, I don't know how to get started. We have got to cut the pride that we have, the ego that we have. Regina, girls, speak to yourself. And I am. When I tell you, it is the thing that will keep us backwards. And once again, you can be relating with another sister. Once again, that we know how it go. You get to talking with somebody else who's on the same level as you of struggling or not, and really it is what it is. It's jealousy. Both are having moments of like, we are not seeing ourselves in a valuable space or a space that we're confident or powerful enough to go and do something. Don't. I had to even kind of start, and maybe this will help you, is I started to kind of see sisters once I was gutting my social media. The algorithm knows what we want. So I started seeing other sisters who had, some products. And I'm like, oh, some I didn't aspire to have but I started to really pay attention and to see, I respect that. And when I started to say that, it kind of started to loosen my pride, because it took it to a level of like, not as vulnerable, but it's like, she's doing her thing. I respect that. And you may not have to take these exact steps, but you need to take some steps towards addressing, what you're feeling, because your feelings are valid, but your feelings don't have to validate you to staying where you are. Okay? So I had looking at people on, different spaces, whether that was, certain social media spaces and even people around me. I'm like, I respect that. I started to see characteristics in people and just calling it out. That was my time in prayer, me and God, calling it out. And then it pulled up to the point I, like a picture, like a page, subscribe to the page, follow the page. And then it got to where even just these right here. Now, this sister, I wasn't saying her stuff was dope, y'all. And I'm gonna link her below because we even started to connect, and it's like, oh my gosh, you start to see things that you have in, you relate to people in different ways beyond what you just saw on the surface. But this sister, I just loved her stuff from the back, and I'm gonna be honest, I was like, she's a sister, so I'm supporting her. And so, and I can't even remember if I did learn of her through somebody else's page. And so I just took a chance and took a chance on purchasing from her. When I tell you, I was sitting in a drive-through line I wasn't supposed to be sitting in, y'all. And I saw a notification up on my phone, and she had posted her inventory. Her creating the earrings, because she makes these. And you've seen them in many of my videos. I wear different earrings that she's created. And I know 2 of these ladies. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is so interesting. She posted me. She posted the fact that, that I got connected to her through someone else, and that it was the biggest order that she had. And when I tell you, it was so humbling. God, I guess he knows. I'm not saying I guess. He knows, but I guess it was a moment that I wasn't expecting that moment. And it humbled me, and it checked me, and it did a lot in one. Like I said, this is not even a sister that I was feeling that type of way towards. But I was like, oh my gosh, for her to do that, it shows the vulnerability, and it shows the transparency, and it shows the support of others. And I was like, you know what? Let me try somebody. And I'm not just now going and looking for people, but it started to loosen its power, is what I'm saying, of those ill feelings. And it started to be like, okay, a curiosity. So a big thing is what I'm saying is, I think a lot of things that we don't acknowledge in the jealousy, we give it too much power, so we run from it, or we combat it, we deny it and all that kind of stuff. No. That may be your feeling, but then address it. And I had to do that, and I found out I was curious as to how other people were doing what they were doing. And so that led me once again to start to like and engage on their pages. And then I started to ask questions. You may have to start with a stranger and then work your way to your friend or your person, your family member, whoever it may be. But the thing is, we gotta start supporting one another, because I guarantee you, if that person is in your corner, I have to say, the mothers that I know, my sister girls, I have to always tell them, like, I know some dope mothers. Like, and when I need to get back to myself, I ask them questions. I used to not say anything because I was that person usually that went and was there for people, but I had to start asking them questions, and it brought me back into who I was as a mom, and it even challenged me to go even farther. So once again, accountability. You got to have the right accountability community around you. Having those hard conversations, not keeping you comfortable. People got to ruffle your feathers, same as the church. You can't just hear the word of God all the time and feel like, oh yes, oh my goodness, empower me. No, sometimes it's going to check you, to make you better. And so I really just want to encourage us and empower us and challenge us with that. Like, check your thoughts, but don't run from them. Have your feelings, and then you may notice that it surfaces into something else, and it's less powerful, and you can actually handle it. You can cut it down. You can assess it in pieces, and then you'll get to that space of where you wanted to get. And all along, that thing is not even what it was anymore. And so that was just something that was on my heart. I want to have a sister conversation with you all. We're going to do more of these. Leave some below. What is something that you're struggling with that you may be scared to talk about? And if you're scared to talk about it, that's the thing you need to talk about. Or that you've been curious about and you think you kind of, like the only one. No, leave it below. Let's talk about this kind of stuff, because there was more that I found out in this phase that I was going through. And it's an ongoing phase, because you're always going to see something that you aspire, and Satan's always going to want to attack your thoughts. So I've done videos before on taking inventory of those things, but that's an ongoing process. So leave some stuff below that you have been struggling with, or something that you may be scared to talk about. Do it. Okay? All right, and I hope to see you all soon. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.